For decades, the tragic tale of David Stringbean, Akeman, haunted the world of country music and cast a long shadow over the Grand Ole Opry, known for his lanky frame, signature overalls, and comedic timing. Stringbean was more than just a novelty act. He was a gifted banjo player, a beloved personality on hee-haw, and one of the Opry's most enduring performers. But on the night of November 10, 1973, the country music world was shaken when Stringbean and his wife Estelle were brutally murdered in their modest Tennessee home. The case shocked fans and left behind a lingering mystery that remained unsolved for far too long. Now, with new revelations and chilling confirmations, the full truth of what happened to Stringbean has come to light, and it isn't good. At the time of his death, Stringbean was riding a wave of popularity. His down-home humor and musical talent made him a household name. But offstage, he was known for his simple lifestyle and mistrust of banks. That last trait, as it turns out, may have cost him his life. Rumors had swirled for years that Stringbean kept large sums of cash hidden in his house. Friends and fellow musicians even warned him, but he reportedly brushed it off, trusting that no one would harm an old country banjo picker. That trust was tragically misplaced. On that cold November night, two young men, brothers John and Marvin Douglas, broke into the Akeman's cabin-style home in search of the rumored money. What they found instead were the homeowners themselves. When Stringbean and Estelle returned home after his Opry performance, they were ambushed. Stringbean was shot and killed near the doorway. Estelle, desperately trying to flee, was shot shortly after. The scene was grisly, and the violence seemed senseless. For a man who had brought so much laughter and joy to millions, his end was cruel and horrifying. The murderers were eventually caught, but for years questions lingered. How much money was really involved? Why were the Akemans targeted so ruthlessly, and was there a deeper motive? In recent years, with the parole hearings of the convicted murderers, more information has emerged, offering long-awaited clarity but also confirming the most heartbreaking suspicions. The killers had indeed believed the couple had thousands hidden in the home. Tragically, the truth was far less dramatic. Though some money was found decades later stuffed inside a wall, the loot the killers were expecting was never there. Newly surfaced parole hearing testimonies and statements from investigators paint a disturbing picture of two men driven by greed and willing to destroy two lives over a false rumor. The most painful truth may be how preventable it all was. Friends of Stringbean say he had begun discussing the idea of using a bank shortly before the murder. Had he made that change just weeks earlier, the tragedy might never have occurred. The mystery surrounding Stringbean's death has finally been solved. But the answers offer no comfort, only confirmation of the senselessness of his murder and the vulnerability of even the kindest souls. What remains is a legacy of laughter, music, and a cautionary tale about trust, simplicity, and the darkness that sometimes hides behind envy.